What do you know about shrimp shenanigans? By now, you've probably seen the news out of South Carolina where back in May of this year, a group called CD Consulting was brought in. CD Consulting is basically like the CSI of seafood, but they were contracted by the South Carolina Shrimpers Association. Didn't know that that was a thing, but they contacted CD Consulting to run some tests on some local restaurant shrimp because they thought something was fishy. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. The Shrimpers Association had long suspected that a lot of restaurants, especially down in Charleston, were falsely claiming on their menus that they were selling local South Carolina shrimp. That really just wasn't the case. So CD Consulting, and it's spelled SEA, like the C, and then the letter D. So this consulting group, they go out to 44 restaurants, and they test to see, where these shrimp come from. Out of the 44, only 4 places were found to have and sell actual local South Carolina shrimp. And you might be thinking, well, who were the 4 restaurants down there that actually were being legit and saying and using locally caught shrimp? And I'm going to tell you, it was Coosaw Creek Crab Shack, that's in North Charleston. You got Grace and Grit, which is in Mount Pleasant. You got Rappahannock Oyster Bar, which is in Charleston. And then you have the Acme Low Country Kitchen, which is in Isle of the Palms. So those are 4 places that you can actually go, and they're being truthful about where they get their shrimp. There is now a lawsuit for 25 of these restaurants because out of the 40 left that were not selling locally, sourced South Carolina shrimp, 25 of those supposedly were falsely advertising on their menus that they were in fact selling South Carolina local shrimp. This lawsuit falls under the Lanham Act and the South Carolina's Unfair Trade Practices Act. So now there's just like this huge thing, and CD Consulting, this is not the first time that they have gone out and tested something like this. They actually have, they've gone to Tampa, St. Petersburg area where they tested 44 restaurants there, and only 2 of the restaurants there were found to have and sell locally, sourced shrimp, and all the rest were falsely advertising that they were selling this. Same thing in Wilmington, North Carolina. I think 77% of the restaurants were kind of like falsely advertising locally caught shrimp. And this company too, they haven't just done shrimp, they've done like red snapper and grouper and everything like that. So they have this test called the RIGHTTest, where they can somehow find out where this shrimp is coming from. It's crazy. It's like CSI for shrimp. And you might be thinking, like, what's the big deal? Shrimp is shrimp. But what's happening is that what they're finding is this shrimp is not only not coming from, local areas. It's not even coming from the United States. It's coming from farms overseas, which is kind of weird and gross. So attorney Gedney Howe is representing the Shrimpers Association with this, and I like to think that someone's out there that specializes in shrimp law. I would just like to say, hi, I'm Matt Swift, attorney, shrimp law, and other maritime items. But the attorney and the Shrimpers Association, they filed a lawsuit back in June, on June 13th, as an injunction to make sure that these restaurants are labeling their menus correctly and not falsely advertising and saying, hey, this is locally caught shrimp, when that's just absolutely not the case. As for the other 25, I'll have the full list on my Patreon page. I'm sure you can find the list other places, but I'll have it on my Patreon page with some other items and information you can find at the Hidden Pine Lodge on Patreon, so come visit us. But also, as this lawsuit has come about, some of the restaurants have already begun to reach out and voice their displeasure and give some quotes. And again, I'll have all the quotes on my Patreon page, but basically there are a few restaurants that have already started to reach out saying, hey, we didn't mislabel anything, or we are very upfront about where we get our shrimp, but we never said that it was from South Carolina. And then others were saying hey, Yeah, it is from South Carolina. I don't know. So like this whole big scandal, which I think is absolutely fascinating. And again, like who thought shrimp would be such a dramatic topic to discuss? But ultimately, I think it just comes down to accountability. When you go to restaurants, you want to know where your food comes from. And if you have restaurants that are falsely claiming that they're from, local sources, like that's usually what you want to do when you go eat somewhere, especially seafood. You want to eat seafood that's locally caught. So if you have restaurants that are not doing that, it's not great. But this is all caused quite a stir, and I will make sure that I keep everybody up to date. I'm super fascinated by this. I'm not entirely sure why, and I kind of want to like start getting into like maybe I should go to law school and be a shrimp attorney. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are you following this whole thing at all? Am I the only one that's absolutely fascinated by all the shrimp shenanigans? Anyway, keep you guys updated. See ya.